I'm standing here with Kurt Brokaw, one of the great educators in the new school in New York City. He has a book stand here, I can't believe, by Zabar's on 80th and Broadway, selling NOIR paperbacks. I'm going to show you these paperbacks here, and then we'll see what Kurt's got to say for himself. He's got the Thompson book here, The Killer Inside Me, for only $1,000, without a crease. Kurt, what do you think about all this stuff?
Well, this is a piece of lost New York that hardly exists anymore. Most of the used and rare bookstores in this town are history, and this little paperback table is sort of the remnants of really an industry I think that was near and dear to my heart, and not just the paperbacks but the pulp magazines, which, because of their cover illustrations, in effect, so many of the cover artists migrated over into paperback houses and began to illustrate paperback covers in the late 40s and 50s, which is why so many of these books have got that pulp look, is that they were done by pulp artists. This is really my collection. It's a piece of my collection, and I try to bring out 100 titles when the weather's not too bad on a weekend in front of Zabar's or down in Lincoln Center in the Upper West Side here of Manhattan, because this is the only neighborhood in New York City where people still read to any degree and have some knowledge, a little bit, once in a while, of what they're looking at. So it's a chance to sort of, in a sense, have somebody walk up and say, hey, do you have any James M. Cain? Do you have any David Goodis? Do you have an early novel by Pearl Buck that they're looking for? And maybe it's here. So that's kind of the emblem. Most of these are really in impeccable condition. The prices are anywhere from 10, 20, 30, 40 or up. The thing works as gifts. There's not a living in it, but I think as a hobby, it's a lot of fun, and I still enjoy doing it. And I'm closing in on 80, so there ain't many of us left in this world still doing this kind of nonsense on the sidewalks of New York.
So you have a few Charles Willeford.
I do have Willeford. I think within the rare paperback canon, you've got 3 authors that count. There's Jim Thompson, there's Charles Willeford, and there's David Goodis. And then there's a big drop down to the rest of the world, the Hammets and Chandlers and Canes and Ross McDonalds and John D. McDonalds and Mickey Spillanes. All of those are affordable because all of those had larger printings. Willeford, Thompson, Goodis were much more specialized paperback originals. Those books set at anywhere from 200, 300, 400 and up. And once in a while I get somebody who wanders up here who's just dying to own one of them, and it happens, but it happens very, very rarely.
Very good. We appreciate it. Anything else you'd like to say about the New York scene? We were talking earlier about the rarity of bookstores in New York City. They seem to all be vanishing.
They are all vanishing. We don't have a science fiction store at all here in the city. We used to have 4 mystery crime stores. 3 of those have gone down. Auto Penciler's got the only viable mystery store still in operation. We've lost almost every specialty store that existed here, simply because, in effect, people are reading online, if they're still reading at all. And to some degree, the used and rare bookstore is really kind of a dinosaur in this town. This table is really kind of a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur in this town. But in a sense, the mom and pop operations of the city are part of a fast vanishing past. There's no question of that. I stand here as kind of a survivor of all this, and enough people walk up here once in a while that we can have some fun out here. Philip Roth walks up. I mean, I love the fact that Philip Roth is a fan of this table, and when he was alive, David Halberstam was a fan of his table. James Levine, the virtuoso director of the Philharmonic Orchestra, was a fan of this table. And these guys would come up and we would have good conversations. Martha Plimpton, the actress, comes up here and she likes juvenile delinquency stuff. Where else can I have conversations like that except on the sidewalks of New York? One thing you should know also, the reason I'm out here doing this, and this is about the only city in the world where legally I could do it, is that New York City has a book law. It went on the books of New York in 1893. It was designed to protect Jewish immigrants who came over and sold chapbooks on Orchard Street out of push carts for a penny a copy. It's been on the books ever since then. It's a good law, and that's why I'm out here, in effect, legally exercising my rights. Everybody thinks it's a First Amendment right. It's not a First Amendment right. The First Amendment says you and I can publish anything we want, but where we sell it is dependent upon the city, the village, the town, government, in effect, that sets the rules about who can do what, where, and when. So, in a sense, it's good to be part of New York City's thriving book community.
So if you're in New York City and you want to see some serious books and serious educators about books and people who love books, come out here by Zabar's on Broadway, 80th, 82nd, and talk to Mr. Brokaw. You'll see some books. Kurt, thanks a lot. Is there any final thing you'd like to say?
Well, it's always good to talk to a fellow bookman because there are so few of us left. And the fact that you know what the hell you're looking at when you walk up here is cause for celebration. I mean, I have 4 grown children, and they read on Kindles and they read online, but to some degree they still read hardcover material and they still read paperbacks, the printed page. That hasn't gone out. And if I can pass on that as a kind of a thing, as well as to the students I teach at the new school in the 92nd Street Y, life will have been a good journey.
Thank you, Kurt.